Guys, welcome to the Tar Series End. I'm reviewing this, which is the Marvel Legends Ant-Man. So this is really cool. Really blessed with this update. We got a nice crew look in there. We got the Ant-Man shrinking and growing on the side, and then we have the back with his accessories. And I gotta say, he looks pretty cool in the box there. And out of the box, I absolutely love the design they've got going on here. The helmet is so cool. It looks nice. It's shiny, and the overall suit looks good too. Now, in terms of accessories, you only get a pair of alternative hands, which is really disappointing. But we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But the overall design for it, I think, is pretty cool. He's got some glossy paint on there. The belt's kind of nice. It's definitely an improvement over the retro one that came out a couple years ago. And I gotta say, the head is probably the best part about this. It's really the only new, entirely new sculpted piece on him, but it looks so good. The way the helmet is sculpted, it's actually like sculpted around his face, which I really like it. I like his expression there too, and his antennas. And then I have I like the little bubble piece that allows him to talk to the ants. I think that's pretty cool. I really love the original Ant-Man comics. They're kind of what got me into reading Marvel comics. So, this character has a special place in my heart, and I love the metallic, shiny look there. And again, the glossy paint, it just looks so nice. And then I also like the kind of, not really a texture, but the way it's kind of like molded. Everything just looks nice. Even though this is a part we've seen before, it just looks good. And it looks nice. It definitely works for Ant-Man. Of course, that being said, it definitely is pinless, it's pinned, which is not too great. It would have been nice if they went pinless. I think it would have been cool if they had used like the Renew Your Vows or the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, because Ant-Man, he was a pretty articulate character back in the day, so that would have been pretty cool to at least have some pinless. But either way, it's still pretty cool, and he does have articulation, just not as much as they could have done, at least in my opinion, for a character like this. And considering this like the 60th anniversary edition, it would have been nice if they had really went into it. But yeah, the lack of accessories is a little disappointing. It would have been cool if they had included like an on-mast head for Hank. I mean, maybe if they had done like Scott Lang and Eric O'Grady, since this Ant-Man, like they've all worn this suit, that would have been cool if like they had kind of like packaged it, kind of like Tracksuit Mafia set where it's like 3 of them. That would have been pretty cool. Or like some flask or beakers. And I gotta say, the lack of accessories really is kind of disappointing to this figure. Personally, I don't mind it that much. But like with, something I mentioned in some of my previous videos when I talked about Hasbro, like, with them going up in price, they really need to stop making things like this. They need to stop having excuses. But in terms of articulation, you have a 360 of the head, you have 360 arms, butterfly joints, which are really nice, swings out the shoulder, 360 of the bicep, double jointed elbows, and 360 of the wrist, which is really cool. You have a 360 of the torso and an ab crunch. The legs forwards, backwards, and outwards. You have a 360 of the thigh, double jointed knees. You have a 360 at the boot, and then the feet move up and down and go side to side. So in terms of articulation, really good, and they did a good job with it. Here's a comparison of that old retro Ant-Man that came out a couple years ago. That's not a bad figure, by the way. It just, this one blows it out of the water. It's definitely, in terms of colors, it looks better. It's painted better, especially on the legs there. And the helmet, this new helmet just knocks out of the water. Then here's a comparison of one of the retro Spideys. Like I said, I think this bulk, or I think this sculpt would have worked a lot better than what they kind of went with. But either way, it's still pretty cool. Then there's the orb. And then lastly, here's Captain America. And like I said, it's kind of disappointing, like in my Captain America video where I talked about how impressive they had kind of like figured all this out. Like, it would have been nice if this is something they would start applying to everything. And ultimately, it doesn't really hurt the figure that much in my opinion. I really love it. I love classic Ant-Man. I love the design here. I just feel like Hasbro is kind of like putting themselves in a corner here, because really there's no more excuses for stuff like this. And even though I love this character, and like I said, I would totally pick it up just because it's Ant-Man, I think, for most people, because it's not a part of a Build-A-Figure wave, this could honestly be kind of skippable. And had it came with like a shrinking and growing accessory, or like just some alternative heads, or like some beakers and stuff, I feel like that wouldn't be the case. But like if you're a fan of Ant-Man, definitely pick it up. But otherwise, I could honestly see this one just kind of becoming like a peg warmer, at least till it clearances out. And I kind of feel like that's Hasbro's fault here. And I mean, again, with the windowless box and the increased price, it kind of feels like Hasbro, like with some of their recent releases, like the Captain America, it's like there's no more excuses for this. But overall, it's pretty cool, and I like it. And thank you guys for watching. Please rate, like, and subscribe.